What is up, everybody? This is Clock Management. I'm your host, Justin, and as always, I'm joined by Perry.
Hey, Justin. How's your fever?
I don't have a fever.
Oh, that's weird. You just look hot to me.
Thank you. It must be this sweet Clock Management shirt.
Come on, that one was so good, and I didn't even get a laugh.
it was.
I was really excited for that one.
The problem with that one is I anticipated it.
Oh, well, I mean, you should pretend like I'm not going to do a pickup line, even though I literally always have.
I mean, sometimes you do catch me by surprise. I have no idea how I forget that's how we, like, every show starts, but it happens.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time looking those up. So I appreciate pity laughs, too.
I'll try better next time. Try harder.
Thank you.
We're going to be
What do we got
talking
going on?
about waivers for week 5 this week. We've had some more injuries from key players, so it's going to be this whole season waivers are going to make and break your season. So these are the episodes you want to watch, plus all the other ones.
Yeah. Just a disclaimer. My bench outscored my team this week, so I might not have any idea what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm deferring to you.
My latest Twitter post is hugely popular right now, which was asking what was the biggest mistake you made on setting your lineup this week. Joe Mixon, obviously a huge, huge name.
I sat right here in this chair and without blinking told everyone to sit Joe Mixon for Darrell Henderson, which I did. Which didn't really work out for me very well. It was a weird week. Yeah. So I'm no longer sitting Joe Mixon for Darrell Henderson.
Good call.
Yep. And so far, I feel good about that.
I make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube. A huge benefit for us, so we appreciate that. We're approaching that 1K mark, so we appreciate any of those subs.
That's a real milestone.
Yeah.
When you and I started this podcast, like 1,000 subscribers seemed way out of reach. Yeah, it's like I don't know, man. We're not that good. But
apparently we are. So
yeah. But apparently we are very close to that good.
Yeah. We're almost that good.
Yeah. It takes you guys to get us there.
Yeah. You guys,
we've done our part.
we've done all we can do, and I mean it's not much, but
So please subscribe, comment, so you can win. What jersey did we decide on? I voted.
Yeah, it was the autographed DeMarco Murray jersey.
That's right, DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, throwback. You know, he used to win people a lot of fantasy leagues back in the day.
Yeah. That breakout year in Dallas, didn't expect that at all. But just all you got to do is subscribe and comment. It literally cost you nothing, and you could win a signed DeMarco Murray jersey. Which team is it, by the way?
It's a Cowboys.
Even better.
Yeah.
I was like, if it's Eagles, I don't know.
No, yeah.
I want to unsubscribe.
Good thing it's not, so please don't unsubscribe.
Yeah. No, it is not Eagles.
Yeah. I saw before this definitely belongs in news no one cares about, but I didn't have it written in there, so I'm just gonna throw it where it doesn't belong, right here. Marquis Goodwin posted on Twitter the other day, I'm not sure if Eagle fans love me or hate me.
I don't really think Eagle fans know what they love and hate now.
I replied to him, and I told him that they're Eagles fans, so it's both.
Yeah. Did you see the Twitter poll asking who you would rather have as your franchise quarterback, Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan?
No.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I think maybe Mike Wright posted or something from the Fantasy Footballers, but yeah, my vote was Matt Ryan.
Yeah, is that unpopular?
Well, Matt Ryan was winning, but not by as much as I thought he would.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Ryan got to a Super Bowl, and I know Carson Wentz attended a Super Bowl, but I don't think he can take any credit for getting there. And Carson Wentz had like one good season. Otherwise, he's been pretty mediocre.
Yeah,
Matt
and he's
Ryan's
been injured
MVP,
a lot.
like, yeah. So I understand that Matt Ryan has thrown some big games in his career, but I feel like you have a better chance of winning a Super Bowl at some point than you do with Carson Wentz, at least at the current moment. But
Yeah.
sorry, you talked about the Eagles and not loving. So
well, let's get into some news.
Yeah, man. Did you watch that game? The games last night?
Yeah, that was cool having 2 Monday night games.
Yeah. That
I could get used to that.
Briefly before we get too deep in the news, but New England really played Kansas City pretty hard there for like 3 straight quarters. It was a really tight game. I was pretty impressed considering how bad the quarterback play was.
Are you telling me that wasn't a replay of the 49er Eagle game? The backup quarterback plays horrible for 3 quarters, then throws a pick 6.
Wait, in the game? That was the one thing I got right last week.
The third string quarterback comes in. I'm like, this is a replay.
That was the one thing I got right, though. I did say the Eagles would beat the Niners.
Oh my God!
Sorry, pal.
It was so close.
Yeah,
I didn't like that they gave me hope.
Anyways, so the reason I was talking about last night's games is a lot of you are probably pretty disappointed that Julio Jones left during, I believe it's halftime. He just didn't come back out onto the field.
Yeah, I saw him limping off at halftime. It did not look good.
Right. So I'm sure we'll get an update here pretty soon. I haven't gotten an update as of this morning. So we'll see. But be prepared. Julio might be out. Calvin Ridley didn't do a whole lot last night. I like Russell Gage.
Yeah. Russell Gage should definitely see an increase in targets and stuff during any absence from Julio.
Yeah. And then Olamide Zacharias. Whew, that's a big name. Saw some work last night. Somebody to pay attention to. Deeper leagues, Justin and I are in a couple really deep leagues. Definitely somebody that should be rostered. I'm not saying start him, but just if Julio were to miss time, these other wide receivers could see a lot of work. Bill O'Brien finally fired as head coach.
The shocking part, though, is before Adam Gase.
No, so Adam Gase, the Jets have doubled down. They are saying Adam Gase will be the quarterback for the rest of, hopefully not the quarterback.
Oh no,
God, no. Will be the head coach for the rest of the season. They're switching roles.
Sam Darnold's now the head coach.
We'll talk about him in a second, but so Bill O'Brien is gone. I feel like Houston has definitely underperformed this season. But I think the biggest mistakes that Bill O'Brien has made has been in the trade department. Yes, I think he's one of the worst GMs I've ever seen. DeAndre Hopkins should definitely still be a Texan right now.
Right. They would have a better record if he was.
I completely agree.
I mean, it can't get worse though. To be fair, and they also not only that, they don't have a first or second round pick in this next draft.
Yeah, the Dolphins do, and.
From an 0-4 team. Yeah, they have a great pick.
The Dolphins are pretty happy about that. So, I'm curious to see. I expect some improvement now. I actually do. I think that teams tend to rally around the coaching replacement here. And I'm excited for the Texans. I think you're still going to be playing like Deshaun Watson. You're still going to be playing David Johnson.
I think the coaching staff tends to go... they tend to lean when you get a temporary coach. They tend to lean on their stars more. So I think you'll see more from Watson and Fuller and Cooks, both of those guys, than we have in the last 4 weeks.
In my opinion, Brandon Cooks is almost droppable.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Beyond almost.
Yeah, I actually have that in my notes as an apology to everyone for later for my so much love for Brandon Cooks this offseason.
With how bad my fantasy analysis was in week 4, I would need a whole other episode to apologize. So, anyways, Austin Eckler, this one hurt me personally, and I think it hurt a lot of people. Serious hamstring injury. The news around it is multiple weeks. I think what I saw is probably at least 4 to 7 weeks. How bad he was hurting on the field, he couldn't even get into the cart himself. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I didn't see it live, but I saw the replay of that.
Yeah. We'll talk about Joshua Kelly and Justin Jackson a little bit later in the episode, but yeah, real bummer. Austin Eckler going down like that. Also another bummer for one of these top running backs, Nick Chubb. Did not tear his MCL, but had a serious MCL sprain. So he's going to be placed on IR. He'll be missing at least the next 3 games. I have a feeling it's going to be a little more than 3.
Yeah.
But
I want to say I had read like 80% of people with this injury, like players, miss 4 weeks.
Yeah,
at least.
I'm guessing 4 is probably the minimum. It's probably going to be closer 4 to 6. I mean, is a good way to think about it. Kareem Hunt. I mean, we said it. We've been saying it for months. Kareem Hunt is now an RB1.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
A high-end RB1.
Yeah, we'll talk about a couple other running backs on that team, or at least one other running back a little later in the episode. But everything we say about that running back, I don't care. Kareem Hunt is an auto start, really high-end, high-ceiling running back to play. Sam Darnold took a pretty nasty hit against Denver on Thursday. I'm sure you watched that, Justin. He left the field for a little while.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco came in. I was scared for a second because Denver was on the field at the same time as Joe Flacco, and I didn't want that to ever happen again. But turns out he was playing for the Jets, so that was good. Sam Darnold might miss this coming Sunday.
Yeah, we had the revenge play.
Cardinals DST?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
I don't think they're that good, but the Jets are really bad with Sam Darnold.
The only issue I have with this, sometimes when you get these mixes, it just results in a ton of points.
Yeah, and Joe Flacco has had success before. I'm not like, I mean, I know I was just joking about Joe Flacco, but I'm not worried. I would be more happy if this was just some guy that we had never heard of before. But I feel like Joe Flacco can go out there and manage a game and probably not turn the ball over a bunch, which is what you're looking for, you know, if you're going to stream a defense. But there are definitely, I mean, it's definitely in consideration if you're trying to stream a defense this week.
It's an option there for streamable defenses.
I don't think that the defense is going to get blown up, I guess is my point.
Yeah, so another defense I want to bring up, though, is the Steelers defense. Since they didn't play last week. Well,
true.
Yeah, someone may have dropped them. So check your waiver wires. Steelers defense might be out there. A great defense with a great matchup.
I got to go check our waiver wire.
They're not available. I already did.
Darn it. Okay. Leonard Fournette, we all know that he didn't play on Sunday. He also didn't practice on Monday, and they play Thursday night. I know missing Monday practice is usually not that big of a deal, but when you're playing Thursday, it is a big deal. I don't know. Keyshawn Vaughn, he caught a touchdown pass this week from Tom Brady's 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, he did.
I feel like Keyshawn Vaughn is going to be more involved whether or not Leonard Fournette's there. I think at this point, it's probably going to be a pretty heavy committee here between these 3 guys. Keyshawn Vaughn probably getting the least amount of work between the 3, but are you willing to play Ronald Jones if Leonard Fournette's out?
If Fournette's out, I'm willing to play Ronald Jones.
Okay.
The coach keeps telling us he's committed to him, and so far it hasn't been coach talk. So,
okay, I think I agree. I think I'm willing to ride Ronald Jones one more week, but if Keyshawn Vaughn continues to get more and more work, and then, I mean, Leonard Fournette will come back at some point. This backfield could be the hardest to interpret in the NFL. But anyways, Kenyon Drake left the field. A lot of people are really scared about what happened, you know, what's happening with Kenyon Drake. First of all, his performance has been super terrible. My recommendation is don't drop him yet, but he's definitely sittable. Bench Kenyon Drake if you feel so inclined. They are playing the Jets, so that could work out. I mean, this could be his breakout week or whatever, but I understand if you're super frustrated with Kenyon Drake and want to bench him, but don't drop him. Don't trade him. You're trading him at his floor at this point. but it turns out that he was not injured. There was no chest injury. He just got the wind knocked out of him. This is a report from Monday, and that he will be playing on Sunday. So, what are you doing with Kenyon Drake against the Jets, considering how poorly he's played or how poorly he's been used?
Yeah, as a Kenyon Drake owner in our main league, I will be benching him. Here's like some players that I have on my bench available that I'm willing to start over him is Jerick McKinnon.
I think that's a great choice.
Yeah, and then also I have Deandre Swift on my bench, who I would rather start.
I don't know if I'd go with Swift because Swift has also played like pretty poorly as a full product on the season, or been used poorly.
But he's gotten some pass catching work. So in PPR, he's last few weeks he has outscored Kenyon Drake, and I am worried that Kenyon Drake, Chase Edmonds may cut into Kenyon Drake's work even more going forward.
He may. If Kenyon Drake has a bad game against the Jets this week, I'm all out on Kenyon Drake. But right now I've got like 1 foot out of the door, basically. So, and then some good news regarding the COVID tests in Tennessee. The Titans have reported multiple days now in a row of no positives. I think that what's the report here? If they hit Wednesday with no more positive tests, they can return to their facility, right? I think
Yes.
Yeah. So it is Tuesday this morning, and I saw a tweet today that they also received no positives, and then yesterday, Monday, no positives. So we're looking good. I hope that they can return so we can have that game this week. So, yeah, that's all the news that I really wanted to bring up. There was a lot of little injuries, and clearly a lot of great performers and duds and stuff. But yeah.
Well, and I'll get into some of that here in a little bit. But first, we got some news no one cares about. So first piece of news no one cares about is Jalen Ramsey gets in a fight with Golden Tate post game.
I know he waited for him outside the locker room. Didn't
he? Yeah, he waited outside their locker room, the other team's locker room, to fight him. That's crazy. They'd be separated by players.
Jalen Ramsey's always getting into stuff like this. He's always pissing off all the wide receivers he's guarding. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's part of the reason why he's so good. But
Justin? I think that he's just a hot-tempered guy and plays that way as well. I mean, it's part of who he is, but it's going to hurt him for football. Like, he's going to end up getting fined and,
I could see a possible suspension.
Yeah.
Especially in the COVID world, right? Like, the NFL wants these guys interacting as little as possible. Obviously they have to on the field.
Yeah.
But getting in a fist fight after the locker room, I could see them both getting suspended.
Yeah.
At least Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, especially for
waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Golden Tate maybe getting a fine, but Golden Tate doesn't have the best reputation in the NFL either.
Yeah. So,
with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know that story,
you should look it up.
Check it out. Yeah, check it out.
Next thing, Chicago Bears sign veteran running back Lamar Miller to the practice squad.
Not what you want to see.
That's. Do you receive? I don't think you even receive a paycheck for the practice squad.
Oh, you do.
Yeah. Oh, you do. Okay. Yeah. Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Still, NFL
how the mighty have fallen,
I guess.
Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah.
I think Lamar Miller was really good, and just injuries and mismanagement. I mean, another product of Bill O'Brien having no idea what he's doing.
Oh, all right. Next thing, Phillip Rivers. Did you see the video of this? The trash talk, because there's no crowd noise.
Yeah,
so the trash talk at the line. Oh, it was great. To Roquan Smith, he said, like, he comes up, tries to draw him offsides. They don't go offsides, and then he points at him and he's like, he's like, you got beat around the corner last play. He's like, no, I didn't. And he's like, yeah, he smoked you. Oh, it was great.
Phillip Rivers doesn't curse, if anybody's wondering. And there was one quote from last week. I'll try and find it while you're looking up or giving the next bit of news nobody cares about, but it was so funny.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Adam Thielen scored a touchdown. That's not news no one cares about, but the part that is then his touchdown dance was him hitting the gritty. Okay, you ready to demonstrate, Perry?
No.
Yeah, I looked up this dance after this. Apparently some former college player came up with this dance because like Thielen did it, and I've been seeing a bunch of other players do it. Tyreek Hill and a bunch of others. So it's like the new hot dance for football players. It's ridiculous.
Well, I want to see you do it.
I that will not happen.
Why?
I got the headset on with the microphone. That I don't got a lot of room in here. That just logistically, it's not possible.
Okay. Well, I'm not finding that Phillip Rivers quote, but it was. Oh! I think it's he got sacked and then he runs over to the sideline and he's like, "That guy hit the stew out of me."
Yes. That's awesome.
Oh man, sorry.
Yeah, that's the best smack talk is when it's someone who doesn't swear and they use alternative swear words.
Stew.
Yeah,
it just makes me want stew.
Yeah, I'm kind of hungry now.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all the news no one cares about. So now I want to do a quick, just like recap some performances from last week. I wrote down some key notes that I wanted to go through real quick before we get into our waivers. Calvin Ridley, 0 catches.
Yeah. I mean, I think he had 3 targets in the first quarter and then like 1 target for the rest of the game or something like that.
Yeah, everyone's darling breakout receiver for this year with 0 catches. It's upsetting. He's been over 100 yards every game until this week.
I mean, I think I would have to go back and watch before I, officially assign blame for this, but it's one of two things. Either the Packers played Calvin Ridley really, really well, or the Falcons know why they lost. And they lost because they're not using their best players.
Yeah, I agree. Exactly. I'm not blaming Ridley for this. This is not a Ridley thing. I'm okay with Ridley going forward. Speaking of the Packers, though, tight end Robert Tonyan, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, my opinion of this is Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard are out. MVS, It was really easy for them just to zero in on MVS, and
Rodgers is smart.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers doesn't care about your fantasy team.
No, and unless you're Aaron Rodgers
because
owner.
I have MVS.
It's okay. I did have a league where I needed MVS to get me 2 points, and he did do that. So
I needed a lot more points than 2. I was like, this is going to be a 3 touchdown night for him. No, it was a 3 touchdown night for the tight end that nobody rostered.
Yeah. Okay. Mo Alley Cox, top 12 performance.
Yeah, good call. I mean, I think we were trying to go back and forth with Dalton Schultz and Mo Alley Cox.
Yeah, well, Dalton Schultz was from the no. No. Dalton Schultz was from last week's waiver wire. Like the week prior to this past one, we had talked about him. So I said if he's picked up, which he probably is by this point, then I go Mo Alley Cox.
Okay.
Which I mean, if I guess if you picked up Tonyan, then you beat me.
You really won. I did not. I played Dalton Schultz, but we'll talk about him later.
Yeah, it's still a good pickup. Odell Beckham Jr., 1 rushing touchdown. 1 touchdown from Jarvis Landry and 1 touchdown from Baker.
Yeah. I don't think this means that Odell Beckham is back.
No, Dallas's defense is gone.
Yeah, Dallas defense is terrible. I also think if if this was 3 touchdowns from Baker, I would have been more excited.
Yeah.
But the end around that he did, this like that should never have scored.
The Landry pass.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry pass.
It's a trick play.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Sure.
it's a break. They break down the defense. So
right. And then the third touchdown was all ODB, and I think ODB is officially
OBJ.
Sorry, OBJ.
I mean, I wish it was ODB. Wu-Tang forever, man.
I think this just means that he's kind of this new boom bust guy on this offense. They want to run the ball. They're able to run the ball. Even with Nick Chubb out, I believe they'll be able to run the ball. That's how they're winning games. They're 3-1, man. Like the Browns are 3-1 and just beat Dallas. So
yeah.
Odell Beckham, I think you have to start him, and he's going to win you weeks. I think this will probably happen 1 or 2 more times this season where he just explodes and wins you the week. But I mean, he's got an okay floor. You know, it's just, I don't think we'll ever see the Odell Beckham of, 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, both top 5 receivers this week. We did say that we thought they would do good this week, but I mean,
I wanted to ask you about Amari Cooper because I think you've been harder on Amari than I ever have. Personally, I think Amari is an auto start wide receiver 1 rest of season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's an auto start. He's startable. He's going to be either a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 week to week. So yeah, at this point, I'm auto starting him either way. I mean,
I think with the amount of targets he's getting, it's really hard for him to disappear, like you say that he has done in the past.
Yeah.
And he's already got 51 targets this season, which isn't sustainable. I understand.
Yeah, and exactly. I think that you will see weeks where it goes down, but I don't think he'll drop out of a startable spot. You know what I mean? Like even on his down weeks, that with the volume of throwing they're doing, he's still going to be 12 to 24 wide receiver 12 to 24, which means you're starting him.
I think he's hard. I think he's top 12. I don't think there's a wide receiver every single week that will be top 12 every single week.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Even in his down weeks, he's startable.
I think I'm actually curious. We can look that up later. If there's ever been a wide receiver that's literally been top 12, 16 straight weeks.
I would be shocked if that were true.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he finishes the season well within the top 12.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm saying is like I think even on his down weeks, it's not going to be a total vanishing act, which has been his history.
Right.
And that's what I was afraid of before, and it doesn't look like that's the case anymore.
Okay, let's move on from Amari real quick because I think there's a couple other things to unpack on Dallas.
Yeah.
Michael Gallup.
Yeah.
Is now the number 3 wide receiver.
Yeah. Which is crazy. True.
Yeah.
I was thinking before the season started, I thought eventually CeeDee Lamb would work into this wide receiver 2 spot, and Gallup would be the wide receiver 1. I was wrong on all accounts. So Amari's the wide receiver 1, and then CeeDee Lamb, and then Gallup.
Yeah. I mean, CeeDee Lamb has seen a minimum of six targets. It's actually been 6, 9, 7, 7. Found the end zone twice. CeeDee Lamb at this point is a start.
Yeah.
Like you have to be starting CeeDee Lamb. Purely, I mean, even without him doing this well, which he's been doing better than what you just said expected, and even that I expected. Just because this offense, man, like if they're going to throw the ball,
and how bad their defense has been,
right?
Because they have to continue to throw the ball that much.
Yeah. I'll be starting CeeDee Lamb this week. I'm thinking probably over Robert Woods.
Yeah, I think that is a fair assessment.
Yeah. I'll double check on that. I'm still trying to decide, but I think
by Friday I'll have an answer.
Yeah. Robert Woods is playing Washington, but anyways. Yeah, Michael Gallup I think still needs to be rostered. But you need to be in a deep league to start him. I mean, he's a ceiling play at this point.
Yeah.
His average depth of target is well over 20 yards. So that just means like he's going to have big days, but yeah, predicting when that's going to happen, I have no idea how.
All right, let me get through a couple more of these real quick. I got 5 more notes on here, I think. 5 or 6. Okay. Roquan Smith, 4 for 4, 54 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think if Michael Thomas is back this week, but if he misses any more time, Roquan Smith is their next up wide receiver.
Yeah, he's the number 1 receiver without Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
And even with Michael Thomas back, Roquan Smith could be playable. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
But definitely needs to be rostered in every league.
Seattle's top receiver this week, David Moore.
I know.
Yeah, shocking though. I mean, man, poor Lockett had a horrible game, but Lockett. I mean, I still have faith in Lockett. I have on the notes Brandon Cooks. I'm sorry. I already covered that, so I'll just skip past.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon, crazy breakout game, ridiculous. Yeah. Joe Mixon in your lineup from here forward?
I think I have to. His matchup this week against the Ravens,
not ideal.
Sucks.
Yeah.
But I think you have to play him. The nice thing about what happened this week was it wasn't just Joe Mixon blew up. He had
1 breakaway play. Yeah.
He was already in the lead of touches, or one of the highest touches counts in the league. He got even more this week.
Yeah.
They wanted him to have the ball, which is smart. That's how that makes me think that they're going to start using him even more like that. So he's a super good weapon for the team. They need to use him that way, and if they do, he'll be a super good weapon on fantasy.
Antonio Gibson, 151 rushing yards, 6 catches on 6 targets for 30 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Do you think Washington continues this usage of him?
I think so. I think they have to. I think they know Dwayne Haskins isn't that good. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Alex Smith in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, and honestly, I think if Alex Smith comes in, I still like Antonio Gibson even more.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. I don't think he's a top 12 running back by any means, but he will be a streamable option for your flex spot.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
McKinnon, he was the clear lead running back for San Francisco this week, which I think next week their running backs are likely to miss. I think that's a great start if you have him.
Yeah. Yeah, McKinnon looks like the guy, which is cool. Have a little bit of clarity in that backfield.
Yeah, for another week until their running backs come back.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to the San Francisco running backs. And then Drake is officially a bust. We touched on it a little bit. What do you think? Are you ready to label him?
Even if he has a decent rest of season, you have to label him as at least a pseudo bust. I think he's lost a lot of his drafters at multiple games so far.
I love the take, but also I don't think I've ever heard anyone say pseudo. He's at least a pseudo bust. I don't think I've heard that phrase used before, but I love it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have to. I'm just talking about at the end of the season. Am I willing? Do I think he'll be a bust, as in he's terrible, droppable? No, I don't think it'll be quite that far. But
But how many games did he cause you to lose is the thing, because so far that answer's 4, and then or possibly
way through,
and then also
the season, so.
Let's say he has a great game next week. Are you starting him next week? He finally lives up to the hype week 5. He's probably not in your lineup. So I mean, it's hard to say that he is not a bust at this point, especially for his draft capital.
I guess the reason I brought that up, and we'll make this quick because I know we got more to talk about. Going into week 4, was Joe Mixon a bust?
He was a potential bust at that point. I felt like he was on the verge.
but he has a 3-touchdown game. No longer, Joe Mixon's no longer a bust, period, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, that could happen at any point with Kenyon Drake. It's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, you know, if we have another, like I said before, if we have another bad week this week, I'm pretty much done with Kenyon Drake. And the first sign of light, I'm trading him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. All right, let's get into some waivers.
Let's do it.
All right, so I got these separated by position, and then I'm going to throw a couple stream options for quarterback and defense at the end here.
Okay.
All right, so running back. Start with the running back position. This is the order I have them in. I know you disagree with the order. We talked a little bit before the show on this, so I'll give you my order and their own percentage, and then you can tell me how you have them. So I got Damien Harris from New England as my number one, Dearness Johnson, and then Justin Jackson as my number three. How do you have them? Oh, on their own percentage, Damien Harris owned in 15% of leagues, Dearness Johnson in 0, and Justin Jackson in 8. So these guys are all available on your waivers right
now. I think, like, you and I were kind of talking about Damian Harris. It's tough. This one's I don't really want any of them, to be completely honest with you.
But I don't think it's a huge waiver week. I don't think any of these guys are must own, especially for the running back position.
I think I would go Justin Jackson, Damian Harris, Dearness Johnson. And the reason I put Justin Jackson number one is it isn't because he's leaps and bounds ahead of these other two guys. It's because Joshua Kelly has played pretty poorly as of recent, and it's not his job, right? Like I think, like, with Dearness Johnson, it's Kareem Hunt's job, right? I don't see anytime soon that Dearness Johnson is going to supplant Kareem Hunt.
To throw fuel into your fire, we were much higher on Justin Jackson in the offseason pre-draft before they brought Joshua Kelly in. Not because we thought he was going to take the job from Austin Eckler, but because we thought there was a role to be had as him with the number 2 running back there. So
right, and Justin Jackson he's a pretty decent receiver out of the backfield. Which they're going to need to replace Austin Eckler, who, I mean, a week ago was 11 for 11 receiving. So Justin Jackson is who I would want most out of these three. Damian Harris. You and I were talking, and I think I'm willing to entertain the idea of rostering Damien Harris, even though I don't like the Patriots backfield. But as soon as Cam Newton is back, I don't want him at all.
Yeah, the whole argument behind it is like it doesn't even have to be any other team. You have any other coach. And Damien Harris is the clear guy you want to own out of all of these guys. The problem is, it being New England's offense, they may bring, like you said, Perry, they could just grab someone from their practice squad or someone else's practice squad and just throw them in their lineup. And, hey, you're now our starting running back each week. You never know who their running back's going to be, but he's the clearly the most talented of all the running backs, and he did a great job. So, I mean, I have him here because I think he has a huge ceiling. The only thing standing in his way is Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and then for Dearness Johnson, he moves probably to the top, or at least tied with Justin Jackson, if you're the Kareem Hunt owner.
Yeah, and that was my whole point with these other two. If I'm the owner of Kareem or Chubb or Austin Eckler, then these other two guys are ahead of Harris, in my opinion, depending on which one of those guys I was the owner of.
Yeah.
But again, these aren't huge. Like, these aren't like the week 1 and 2 waivers. Like, these are not like as huge of a priority to add.
Yeah, I agree.
Wide receivers. Now, these are a little more interesting, especially these first two. I got, in this order, T. Higgins, owned in 25% of leagues. Shenault, owned in 28% of leagues. And then Scottie Miller, owned in 11% of leagues. Scottie Miller is currently injured, as is every other wide receiver on that team. So the thing with Scottie Miller is I would I probably wouldn't pick him up on waivers, but I would watch this going into the week to see who's like how the injuries progress. If he comes back and either Mike Evans or Chris Godwin doesn't come back from injury this week, then go grab Scottie Miller. He should have a good week. Also, OJ Howard out for the season.
Yeah.
So that clears up their tight end positions a little bit as well. What do you think about T. Higgins, Shenault, and Scotty?
My order would be T. Higgins, Scottie Miller, I think, and then Laviska Shenault. But if Scotty, they're really close. I want to say Scottie Miller if he's healthy for sure. But if there's any question about his health, I think maybe Shenault would jump ahead of him. But T. Higgins, for me, is pretty far ahead of both these other guys.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he's actually less owned than Shenault. So
yeah, and AJ Green's droppable.
Yeah, he's the wide receiver 3 there by quite a bit
at best.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly.
Yeah,
Drew Sample. No, AJ Green is droppable. I mean, if you have a deep bench, then sure, hold on to him. But
I'm not even doing it with a deep bench. I'm going to I would rather have Damian Harris on my bench than AJ Green.
Of course you would. Yeah, of course you would. There's a lot of guys I'd rather have. But I mean, you
literally anyone on this list, on any of these lists.
Yeah. In our dynasty league, Justin, that we co-manage, that bench is so deep.
Oh yeah, okay. Most dynasty leagues have crazy benches, so yeah, I would agree with that.
And I do think that there is a world where AJ Green is traded this season.
Yeah, and if he's on my fantasy team, there is definitely a world where he's traded, and that's from my fantasy team.
Gotcha.
Get whatever you can for him. A 4th round pick sounds fantastic.
I think bottom line, T. Higgins, everybody we've talked about before, I would probably want him the most, even out of the running backs. Personally, I'm really excited about T. Higgins.
Yeah, I agree. All right, tight ends. We got 2 tight ends on this list for waivers. We got Schultz and Robert Tanya.
Dalton Schultz is now, of all the people we talked about, my favorite waiver pickup.
Yeah, and he's owned in 32% of leagues, which is why I brought that up. I didn't bring him up last week because we had told you to pick him up the week prior to that, but still apparently people aren't listening. He's still out there. Go grab him if he's available. Robert Tanya he's available in 92% of leagues. He's owned in 8%.
I think Robert Tonyan probably earned some work in that offense, but Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard will be back.
Yep.
They have a bye this week. Those guys are getting a lot of time to get healthy.
Yeah, don't overreact to the crazy week he had. I would definitely rather have Schultz than him, but if you're desperate for a tight end, he probably will continue to get some work.
It probably won't happen again this season that there is a tight end on waivers that's an every week start.
Yeah.
And that's Dalton Schultz.
Yes.
So.
All right, QB. And this blows my mind. Herbert, owned in 12% of leagues.
Yeah. He killed it for us in our Superflex league.
Yeah. And he went against a great defense, and he still killed it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Like, he's legit. He's a legit NFL quarterback.
My one concern is the nature of Tyrod Taylor's injury, right? I think that there's it's a weird situation. Could there possibly be like a lawsuit against the team and the team doctor because he lost his job due to the doctor stabbing him in the lungs?
I mean, sure,
like, that's a real thing.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not going to get his job back due to that. He's just going to get money from the organization. But
unless they want to avoid it. And I will also point out that Justin Herbert is 0-3.
But I don't think that is it. I don't think they can do that. Only reason I say that is because I'm pretty sure Alex Smith would have done that. He almost lost his leg due to them causing infections in his leg.
Yeah, but I don't know. But also Justin Herbert's 0-3.
Yeah.
So I think he's a really good quarterback, and I don't blame him personally for them being 0-3.
But the coach does.
But I mean, yeah. So I'm just concerned that Tyrod Taylor's going to start again at some point. I don't think he should. I think it's a mistake,
Yeah,
but it could
I
happen.
don't think he's going to. Like, I feel like the coach is saying this just to like be hard on the rookie, like, oh, you haven't done anything yet, type of thing. I don't understand it, but I feel like I know that's something that coaches do sometimes. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
I
Who else?
So that's it for quarterbacks that's available out there that I think you should grab.
I think there's a lot of streaming options this week.
Yeah, I just really like Herbert for this week though too.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Seattle.
So for my streams, QB streams, I have Herbert and then Kirk Cousins. Those are the two streams I've written down.
Yeah, and then Gardner Minshew.
I would rather start Cousins than Minshew though, and Cousins is available. Yeah, and I'd rather have Herbert than Minshew long term. So
yeah, I think I agree with that.
DST, I mentioned this earlier. There's not a lot of great streaming defenses out there playing against bad teams, but the Steelers is the one I would go check out to see if they're available due to them not playing last week.
Right.
Most people are not holding a defense over their bye week, especially when it's super short notice like that one was. So there's a good chance someone dropped them and you could pick them up.
Yeah. Arizona, we kind of talked about Arizona for a good DST.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean,
yeah, there's not a ton of great streams this
like
week.
The Giants, I usually try and target whoever's playing them, but Dallas is playing the Giants this week.
Yeah, do you want Dallas's defense?
No, sir. Yeah, so I mean, looking at this, Tampa Bay's already owned, which is a pretty good matchup.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if I were you, I'd probably ride with what you got, especially if it's not terrible. Maybe do Arizona and hope for some interceptions, but I don't love anybody this week.
Yeah, not any super great matchups, but I mean, this should get you through the week. And I appreciate everyone coming on, but that's
no problem,
all of our waivers.
No problem.
No, I meant everyone coming on and watching the show.
I watch it.
Except for you.
Rude. Super rude.
All right. Well, that being said, I'll see you Thursday.
Bye.